Change. It's something that we all go through in our lives, whether you're in your teens, 20s, 50s, or even 80s. Change can be hard, but most of the time, change is necessary for us to grow. These past few months, I've been dealing with so much change in my life for the positive, and I always get really confused when my favorite vloggers don't give life updates, so I'll give you guys a quick rundown. I've decided to quit my full-time job to give myself the summer off before starting medical school later this year. I had so much self-doubt during this process, thinking I'm not good enough, or if I would be able to do it at all. I'm 23 and I feel like I might have even been too late for me to go, but it's never too late to start over, to figure out your dreams, and to take that one step forward towards your goals. Online, I feel like I've always seen people who are younger going to college or university, and it's really difficult not to feel behind in life when so many young people are so incredibly successful. But everyone has their own life circumstances that they go through. We're all dealt a different set of cards, and there's no rush to the finish line. Matcha and breakfast time. I didn't know how green matcha was supposed to be until I tried Pique's matcha. Pique actually sent me their Radiant Skin Duo a few months ago, and I've been drinking it ever since. I struggle a lot with my skin being super dry during the winter time, so it's really important for me to try to rehydrate my skin from within. The BT foundation is a hydrating and repairing beauty drink. It has ceramides that protect the skin barrier, and it also has electrolytes that help the body absorb water more effectively, which keeps my skin more hydrated and plump. Usually I like to drink this after I work out or I sweat or anything like that. The Sun Goddess matcha is an organic ceremonial grade matcha. It's shaded longer for more chlorophyll and more antioxidants. They're in these small prepackaged packets, and they dissolve in both hot water and cold water. It is so good, guys. For a limited time, you guys can get 15% off plus a rechargeable frother and cup when you shop my link in the description. The past few months have honestly left me so dead and exhausted. I barely feel like myself anymore, but I'm really proud of myself for making it through. I decided that I wanted to refresh my life a bit and just feel alive again, and that starts with my room. And so I decided to have a mini aesthetic room transformation, and that first starts with my dream new bed frame. Okay, I just put on a little crew neck, but I'm gonna edit a little bit before we set up our new bed frame whenever that arrives. But I think it should arrive within the next 1 or 2 hours. Here is the new bed frame that we got. It's taking up the entire hallway, as you guys can see. Vera Wang didn't enter the fashion industry until she was 40, and now she's an incredibly renowned fashion designer. Martha Stewart didn't start her catering business until she was in her 40s. Stan Lee, the creator of the Marvel Universe, didn't write his first hit comic until he was nearly 60, and Charles Flint was 61 years old when he founded what would become IBM. It's never too late to be what you might have been. There's not just one path to success, but a series of small steps, hard work, and also a lot of luck.
This was the best experience of my life.
Success doesn't have a deadline, and there will be hurdles along the journey, but at the end of the day, in 4 years, we're still going to be 4 years older whether or not we pursue our dreams. change can be exhausting and frightening, and it's scary to not know what we don't even know. In my broadcast channel on Instagram, one person asked me what my fears and anxieties are for school and my future, and honestly, I've been thinking about that a lot. The what ifs. What if people in my class are going to judge me about having a YouTube channel? What if I'm not capable? But I honestly don't even know what the future is going to look like until I actually get there. And I do have a lot of worries and anxieties, but what I do know is that I'm going to put my best foot forward, like with everything that I do. If you're worried about the future, feeling behind, or anything at all, remember that nobody's life is perfect and nobody has it all figured out. So let's just go through this journey together. Hello guys, so I thought I would do a little bit of a Q&A right now because I asked you guys some questions that you have on my broadcast channel. Number one, how do med school admissions work in Canada? In Canada, you have to do most of the time a bachelor's degree before actually applying to medical school. There's also only less than like 17 medical schools in Canada. Because of this reason, the prestige of a school doesn't really matter because every school is prestigious. That's why over here they say you don't choose the school you go to, a school chooses you. But with that being said, the second question is how old am I? I'm 23 years old. Finished my bachelor's degree, but I didn't go to medical school right after I finished bachelor's degrees. A lot of people, they opt to go for a gap year or two or go for a master's degree. Next question is what were my stats to get in? This I have to preface by saying once again that every school has different things that they're looking for, and not every school is like super transparent about what they're looking for. I can say that stats that got me in personally was I had a cumulative GPA of 3.98 with the maximum GPA of being 4. But some schools, they like drop your lowest grades or they only look at 3 years or 2 years. I didn't really calculate those GPAs. I just know that my cumulative GPA is a 3.98. So most schools also need what's called Casper. So I got a 4th quartile in Casper. So this exam actually doesn't tell you what your exact score is. It just gives you quartiles, from 1 quartile being the lowest to 4th being the highest. But it's very vague, to be honest, because you don't know where you fall into that percentile. The next thing that some schools look at is your MCAT. Actually, not every school in Canada looks at your MCAT, and a lot of these schools use them as cutoffs instead of using it competitively as well. Some of them do use it competitively though. I got a 511 total on the MCAT. I only wrote the MCAT once, so I was hoping it was good enough because I really did not want to write that again. But those are like the overall numerical stats that I personally had. What are some of my hopes that I have for medical school? I think that I just want to enjoy it to the best of my abilities. What I mean by that is I don't want to rush anything. I don't want to be like, oh, this is just something that I have to get through, because that's kind of what I felt like in my undergrad. Obviously, stuff with like COVID didn't really make things very enjoyable, so I hope that my experience is enjoyable and that I make it the best that I could possibly can. Some of my fears that I have for medical school, honestly, like being in a different environment is always kind of scary sometimes because it's not something that you're used to, right? I guess that's one of the biggest fears that I have, being put into an environment that I'm not used to and that I might be a little bit uncomfortable with, especially at the beginning. I also really hope that I find people that I vibe really well with and that I'm friends with, and like nobody judges me that I'm a YouTuber. That's another fear of mine. I'm not sure exactly what it's gonna be like, but I hope that everything goes well. In terms of this summer, some of the goals and the plans that I have, I actually wrote down a whole bunch of goals that I want to be able to follow this summer and stay consistent with a lot of like personal hobbies and endeavors. And then also I want to be healthy this summer. I want to prepare myself the best that I can for my time later this year. I know this might be cringe, but maybe I want to like review some of the concepts that I've learned previously just so that I can have a little bit of a refresher. I want to stay productive and healthy, most importantly, and to best prepare myself for when things start in a couple months. Let me know if you guys want me to post my reactions to all of my acceptances and rejections too. Honestly, they're like very embarrassing, but I've watched a bunch of these colleges and universities and law school and med school, and to be honest, I found them very entertaining but also kind of motivational and encouraging. Mine was personally extremely embarrassing, but if you guys want to see it, of course I'll put it up for you guys, and if you have any more questions you can comment them down below, and then I can answer them in that video that I post later if you guys want, with the reactions as well. But I'm like so happy and I'm so proud of myself honestly for doing this, because I had so much self-doubt, but the worst that could have happened is failure, right? And failure is not something that should be avoided. Failure is something that is inevitable in life, especially when you try new things or when you go for something that might be a little bit difficult. But what are you gonna do after failing? Learn from it and then improve for the next time. One thing that I want to say is I definitely feel like I couldn't have done this without you guys as well. I feel like the community that you guys have created on YouTube under the comments and with like everything is so wholesome and so positive and so uplifting, and just reading them, all the encouraging stuff all the time has definitely improved my self-confidence so much, because as you guys know, I'm somebody that is like really shy and full of anxiety all the time, and I couldn't have imagined how like your support would have helped me overcome so much of that. I'm crying. So just remember that I care so much about each and every single one of you, and that's why I try to always read all of my comments and like all of your guys' comments to really show that I care and I appreciate the time that you guys spend out of your day to sit down and watch a random person on the internet. So anyways, I will talk to you next time. Bye!
See each other soon, 'cause I was flying out just to see you.